Hi, I'm Hart, and these next 3 tips are sort of interrelated. This first one is going to deal with use of the volume control. I noticed when I was starting to learn how to play, I would watch videos, and this was like before YouTube and everything. I would watch like home videos, VHS tapes, whatever. And one thing that really struck me was, like, say, Jimmy Page in The Song Remains the Same. He was always kind of fiddling with the knobs and the switches and stuff. We've already covered, pickup switches, selecting different pickups to get different sounds. So right now we're going to talk about the volume control. So I usually, on my guitars, I have the volume control set with a little bit of a treble bleed circuit, which is very easy to Google, and it just allows you, as you turn the volume down, instead of it cutting more and more high end from your signal, it leaves some of the high end in, and you can fine tune it. A lot of people like the treble bleed to be very transparent, so when they're at full 10 they have a certain sound, and as they go down 8, 6, 4, whatever, the amount of treble stays the same. I actually like it to sort of accent a little more of the treble because, one, I just like the tone of it. I can turn it down and get that sort of bright, kind of glassy sound that like Richie Blackmore gets. But also, as I turn the volume down, it seems that the guitar doesn't cut through quite as much. Obviously lower in volume. So a little more high end helps it to sort of stay present a little bit in the mix of like a live band or something. So at any rate, the point of the volume control, I've noticed a lot of students, they either just leave it full tilt on and they completely ignore it. So they're sitting there like, I'm trying to talk to them or something, and they're like this. Just constantly ringing. Or they use it as an on-off switch, all the way on, all the way off. Then, every now and then, I'll get a student that, for whatever reason, decides on a certain preset volume, like 7 or something, and they just decide that that's where they set it. And I've asked a few of them, and they never really have a good reason. And to me, that not having a good reason is, really not having a reason. You don't know why you're doing it, so I don't see the point of doing it. If you do it for any reason at all, as absurd as I may find the reason, as a teacher, as a guitarist, whatever, if they have a reason and that's their reason, far be it for me to question that. Whatever. Okay, but usually they don't. They just, I don't know. And to me, that's not a good answer. So, anyway, with the volume control all the way up, obviously the amp is being pushed with the full output of the guitar. So, as you're turning the volume down, the guitar, the tone, the amp sound cleans up a little bit incrementally as you go down. And really what I've noticed is, using a bit of gain, a bit of distortion, whatever, on the signal, the volume really doesn't start to decrease until you get pretty far down on the volume knob. So it's really like a tone control. Eddie Van Halen, I believe, on his Frankenstrat, had just one knob, and I believe it was labeled tone, not volume, because that's pretty much what he was using it for. Tone control to get different sounds. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play something on 10, and then 9, 8, 7, 6. And what I'm doing is I just sort of look where the 10 is on the knob, and then sort of go down until 9 is in that position. Because obviously, at least on this guitar, there's no little marker, like a lot of amplifiers have or whatever. And some old Gibsons have the little pointy marker that, as you go like this, it's a little metal tab, and it cuts up your pinky. But anyway, so just so you can hear how it sounds, and what this does is it helps create a sense of sort of difference with the tones and everything. So when you're playing, it doesn't all just sound like all at the same volume, you know, very robotic. So now we're down to 4, and you know, it's really not that big of a difference in volume. 3, 2. Now you can definitely hear the difference. And then 1. And I mean that, you know, pretty much is almost off. Is off. Obviously. So anyway, hope this helps. It's a great way to add a little variety to what you're playing, and you know, don't be afraid of your volume control. Play with it. See what you can get out of your guitar. So I will. I hope this was helpful, and I will leave you with a funny little story. Years ago, I was in a band, a Rod Stewart tribute band. So obviously, it's not very guitar centric. My role in the band, you know, was really part of the band. It wasn't like, you know, the singer and the guitar player right up front. I mean, it was Rod Stewart tribute. It was, you know, the singer right up front, and then just the band strictly backing up the singer. So, excuse me. So with a keyboard player, bass player, a lot of times we had a horn player, you know, whatever. With a larger band than I'm usually in, what I would do is, I was really using the volume control a lot. I would turn it down during verses, turn it up, you know, for choruses, whatever. Turn it all the way up for guitar solos, for leads and everything. And we were playing a show. And a friend of mine was with me, Todd, who does our sound and everything for my band. He's been, you know, a friend of mine since like junior high, long time. So we were playing, and he was in the audience listening, and he came over to the side of the stage and he said that the guitar keeps dropping out of the mix. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, you're playing and there's no sound. I'm like, what? And of course, you know, we're in the middle of a set, so, you know, he says, don't worry, I'll go and find out what's going on. So he went back and took care of it, you know, I guess in the way that only he can. He took care of it, but it turned out what the problem was the sound guy was furious because I kept turning my volume down, you know, a little bit. So he would boost me up. Then I would turn it back up and now be too loud. So he would drop me back down. And then I would turn my volume down. He would boost me back up, turn it back up, and it was too loud. And he was going crazy, you know, trying to keep me at the same volume when, of course, I didn't want to be at the same volume. But he then just went, you know what, forget it, zip, and just took me right out of the mix. So there was no guitar, which, you know, obviously is extremely poor, you know, very unprofessional, poor, just pretty much everything. You know, especially where he had a job to do, and I wasn't doing anything. You know, I mean, I'm playing with the volume control. But it just goes to show you that even on like a semi-professional level, there are people that just have no idea that you can use the volume control on a guitar. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. It ended up a little bit longer than I expected, but oh well, it was kind of funny. Thanks.